same stance in your life. So let's talk about being courageous, shall we? Strong strategies for success. And in this session, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to explore the concept of WAIT. And as you know, it's an acronym, W-A-I-T, as a way to develop a greater sense of self-awareness and appreciation for ourselves through a courageous conversation. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. And I know my time is limited, so I want to breeze through just a few things. This is me. This is my little family. I absolutely love pigs. My favorite drink of all time is hot water. Nothing in it. Don't give me a lemon. I just want hot water. I do love diversity and inclusion. I cannot live without chocolate. And it's just a lifestyle choice. It's just a lifestyle choice. In my former life, I was an American Sign Language teacher. I taught here in the Tucson area at Pima Community College as adjunct faculty. I was a sign language teacher, and as well as in the high school system for over 20 years. I am the owner of Courageous Conversations, and I help people navigate conversations through courage, especially conflicting ones with great challenge or conflict, ones that make your heart beat a little harder sometimes. And so I help folks to be able to have some courageous conversations in the way that it gives folks an ease, right? And so I'm really excited about that. I do coaching, life coaching, and I'm also a wedding officiant. So after I coach you, I can go ahead and marry you. So all of those wonderful things. So thank you for at least giving me an opportunity to give you a snapshot. And of course, as was mentioned, I am a project director for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion here at U.A.I.T, University of Arizona. And my heart beats every day for my children. Two of them are grown. And then I have one 15-year-old that thinks she's grown. She is actually about 35 years old. And I tell you what, that girl, man, she's the most responsible out of all of us. Today, we're going to be having a good conversation about how to avoid burnout. How do you avoid frustration? How do you avoid fatigue? In my opinion, you just got to wait. When I think about some of the things that have frustrated me this week, frustrated me this year, over the last couple of years, I think that we can agree that COVID has been a pandemic of impactful proportions. I could never have imagined. When I talked to some of the older folks, the most seasoned folks in my life, they said, "What you mean you couldn't have imagined? We've already gone through this." They've gone through pandemics before. Well, I haven't. And so seeing this happen before my eyes, going from when it first took flight, I was washing every grocery. I was getting my bag of bread and getting soap and water and washing the bags of bread. It was just so much of misunderstanding. And it wasn't so much misunderstanding. It was just we had fresh information, and it took us a while to navigate through that. We've had loss. We've had tremendous loss, whether it be financial loss and losing a job or, loss in our families and our friends. We've had a tremendous amount of influx. And that has caused many of us to have some anxieties when it comes to doing everyday things. Not only were we facing a pandemic in medical proportions, but we also were facing a racial reckoning in our country. And to some people for the first time, right? When we saw brother Rodney King, brought back concepts and ideas of what happened to Rodney King. But when we saw, Brother George Floyd murdered right before our eyes, that brought back so much emotion to many of us, especially those of us in the brown and black community. And I would even venture to say the LGBTQ community, right? We had experienced these things before. I mentioned Rodney King. Some of that, I was young at that time when that epidemic, that situation happened. And so it just brought back so many memories. But at the same time, some folks, especially in the majority culture, our white allies and friends, this was their first time seeing something like this. Whereas many folks in the brown and black community, the LGBTQ community, this was just another day. We had been through this before. And so that's heavy on our hearts. And how do we come to a reckoning with that? Then we're dealing with, again, the pandemic and how it has disrupted so much. Our jobs, our livelihoods, our families, but also our school, our academics, having to totally switch to a virtual environment, then to come back to an in-person and virtual environment, having that hybrid, right? But some folks are saying, you know what, if I wanted to be an online student, I would have enrolled as an online student. And so having that forced admittance into an online virtual environment was difficult. It's a difficult transition. And so we have to think, how do we deal with these kinds of transitions? How do we deal with these kinds of disruptions in our life? We have to address them. As some of you saw, even on today's call, on today's Zoom, we had a disruption. We had to address it. But that doesn't take away from the rest of our day. It shouldn't take away from the rest of this talk, even if you identify it more than once. If you call attention to something that was a disruption, maybe that was traumatic, it doesn't mean you're rehashing it. It doesn't mean that you're just continuing to bring up old issues. It means, hey, this thing happened, and even more, hey, we overcame it. I overcame that obstacle. I'm okay with talking about it because it is in my past, but it's certainly something that I've learned from that will help my trajectory for the future. And that's what we have to do. As folks that are battling anxiety, battling frustration, feeling like you're so tired all the time, that certain setbacks are continuing to disrupt your success, just wait. Just wait. This is so important that you are able to identify the things that have frustrated you most. Let's talk about it in the chat. What is something that is frustrating you? It doesn't have to be a very long, a very long, soliloquy or paragraph. Tell me one or two words. What are some things that are frustrating you right now? And I'm going to give you some time to do that. Ooh, math. Ooh, I don't even speak math. So, okay, gas. Yep. Okay. Schoolwork. The political climate. My mom. I feel you. I feel you, Zoe. Yes, take yourself off mute. Jackie Starks. It's so good to see your face.
You were talking about what's frustrating. You know, you mentioned that for some people, and maybe people who are not Black, that George Floyd, that's the first experience. And that frustrates me because it's 402 years. I don't think this is your first experience. I think maybe it is the first acknowledgement. So I hear that a lot. I was in a meeting the other night, and how many people said, oh, this is the first time in my life. I'm sorry, you're 65. So let's have that conversation. So that's kind of frustrating me right now.
I understand. And that's good. I'm so glad that you took yourself off mute. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate and honor you for doing that. So thank you. Anybody else, take yourself off mute. Let me know what's frustrating you. What's causing you to not feel so good about something current. Anyone else? Feel free. And I'm seeing stuff in the chat. Schoolwork, student bias. Dr. McGee, that's interesting. I don't know if you feel comfortable coming off mute and talking to us a little bit about that.
Sure, I can. I think I just came off mute.
You did. Thank you.
What I'm talking about student biases is that it's frustrating because the political environment that we have nowadays, and you're dealing with students that are of that like mind, it's kind of frustrating to educate because I teach the nursing program. It's frustrating to educate students when they have that mindset. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm fighting two battles, trying to get the students up to, get them current with their practices, try to teach them what they need to know to get out in the workforce. And my students are primarily, I have out of my 38 students, I have maybe 3 Blacks, 3 African Americans, and the rest are not. So that's the kind of environment I'm working with. That's what I mean by student biases. It's kind of difficult. Kind of difficult to get around that. And I'm sorry, I'm just coming in, so I hope I'm on task here. But I just finished lecturing and I saw this and I clicked right on because I figured this is something I really needed to listen to. But thank you.
No, I'm glad you joined us, and I absolutely understand. exactly where you're coming from. That is a frustrating thing, especially when we live in certain realities. And it seems like Jackie said, it seems as though other people are living in some type of alternative reality. That there is a misunderstanding of what is truly happening in our universe right now. And the interesting thing is, my family, we are Marvel fans. I know some of y'all are DC fans. If you're a superhero person, you know what I'm talking about. You either DC or you're Marvel. Sometimes you can be in between, but I don't know. So we are a Marvel family. And what I have to kind of remind my own daughters about is, there is no multiple universes. In the Marvel universe, there are multiple universes. And so you could be in this universe and then and think something else could happen over here in another. That is not the reality. The reality is that we live in a society that have multiple different views and understandings of the world. Okay? It's a complexity that cannot be summed up in a single workshop. But what we can do is talk about how we behave, how we take on ownership when it comes to other folks and their views and their impact that it has on us, right? I always tell people it's very interesting that we as humans tend to react. We tend to have reactions towards disruptive opportunities in our life. We have reactions when someone has an alternative opinion or view. We have reactions when someone's behavior is intrusive in our life, right? But what I want you to take away from this conversation is maybe not react, but respond. Respond. Reacting is usually something instant. And once we put it out in that universe, you cannot take it back. There's not enough apologies sometimes. You wish you can swallow back your words, but you can't. It is out there. It's in the universe. You said it. You did it. You created. You reacted rather than responded. Responding takes time. It takes you an opportunity to think it through and then be calculated and intentional with your actions, your words, and your thoughts from there. Oftentimes we will see something or hear something, someone will come at us in a way, and I'm feeling a way about it. Listen, and I hope we're all friends here, because sometimes I get excited and I start getting real urban in my vocabulary, right? I start really just getting some down home stuff. So y'all have to forgive me if I don't sound all that academic. I promise I got a degree or two. But I'm going to tell you, we start reacting and we start feeling away. We start popping off. Some of us, we get real good with using our hands, right? We start clapping. We start having great neck and shoulder and all the things movements. Some of us don't even go that far. Some of us are a little bit more calm with our body language. We're less expressive with our body language, but our mouth will be quick to react. Our mouth will be quick to say something back, or as some of the younger generation will say, clap back, right? Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Why am I talking? When you are encountering a situation that is less than comfortable and you find yourself arguing, you find yourself the temperature rising, you see that your gauge, your frustration has gotten to a point where you are feeling away and you start speaking. I want you to wait. I want you to think about that question. Why am I talking? What is moving me to react rather than respond? What is moving me? What is the catalyst or the trigger to me reacting in a less than stellar behavioral way? I know that as a person that talks a lot, I want people to see my heart, the character of my heart, because the character of my mind might cuss you out. I don't want that. I want people to be able to see the behavior of my heart. I wouldn't be in this position if I didn't care for people. So when I get to a point where I'm boiling, I have to wait. Why am I triggered? Why am I triggered by this situation? And then I sit and think, why am I talking? Right? When I said that there's certain things I don't negotiate with, I have a series. I don't negotiate with terrorists. Terrorists that are trying to take away from my life, take away from my character. Terrorism comes in multiple different ways. Sometimes I am my own terrorist. I destroy my own dreams by negative self-talk, by lack of enthusiasm, not following through, procrastination, frustration, fatigue. I become my own terrorist. And I have to say to myself, Denise, you don't negotiate with terrorists. You have a job to do, and that is to succeed. As adults, whether we are on a college campus, whether we are in our home, whether we are on our jobs, whether we're in the classroom, whether we're teaching, whether we are supervising students, whether we are a supervisor, it doesn't matter. You have a job to do. And at this moment, wait. Before everything that you built, before everything that you have worked hard for, before you let those grades and everything, your admittance into Phoenix College that you worked for, that somebody, some terrorist back in the day has no idea and believed that you couldn't even get to the place you're at. Are you going to really allow all of that to crumble so you can clap back? Are you going to really allow all of that to crumble so you can sleep in? Why am I tired? When you think of the acronym W.A.I.T, you can fill in that T. You know what that T is. It's the heaviness that's on you. It's that feeling of being it's just not being in control. Why am I talking? Why am I triggered? Why am I tired? All of those are questions that you can ask yourself. Who is sabotaging who? When it comes to your success, what is standing in the way? Maybe it's a habit. I have a really bad habit, and I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to give it credence because I'm not negotiating with that terrorist either. But some of us, we have some habits that are keeping us from our success. They are robbing us. They are holding us hostage. They're terrorizing our lives. Why? Because we're allowing it. Why am I triggered? Why am I tired? But then there's some of us who are the terror. Our negativity, our feeling less than who we are. We might feel that we are not accomplished, that everything is going wrong. And consequently, what we're feeling is manifested in our behavior, and we become the terror. We become the terror in our family. We become the terror in our relationship. We become the terror on our jobs. Everything is so negative. I just can't see a bright day at all. I mean, I could be thirsty outside and hot as the dickens, and then it starts raining, and I'm mad at that too. Rather than saying, oh my goodness, I was hot and I'm thirsty and literally water is coming from the sky. And I don't know about, global warming and none of that stuff. So I'm not telling you to drink rain. But what I am saying is get the comparison. We begin to terror others in our lives because we have not had an opportunity to deal with what is plaguing us. No more. We are going to be able to be courageous. We are going to be able to confront conflict with courage, whether it be in the classroom, whether it be you have so much terror in talking to your instructor because you're falling behind on your work and you're scared and you don't want to talk. Well, you need to go into that conversation. Why am I talking? I'm talking because I need to stand up for myself. I'm talking because I need to advocate for myself. You need to figure out your why. Why am I? What is a T that is terrorizing your life right now? What is that T, that word that starts with T, that is causing you to have some setbacks in your life? Add those to the chat. Tell us how, and remember that your testimony can really help others overcome. It does take courage to be honest and transparent. Transparency can be a great thing, but it also can be a not so good thing. Why am I transparent? Do you feel like you have to be totally upfront with every single person that you come into contact with? You walk up to people and be like, that dress is not very flattering. Did I ask you? Right? You can feel, well, I'm just being transparent. No, you're not. You're being mean because nobody asked you. It's one thing to be transparent and honest in a situation where you have a relationship on a rapport that allows for that conversation. If it is a conversation that the other person may have, walk away with some bruised, so many things, right? Listen here, that transparency may not be warranted at that moment. I'm not telling you to lie to anybody, but most of the time when you are lying or not telling the truth, it's because somebody asked you a question and you reacted with an untruth. But if you're just walking up to people telling them your opinion, that's a whole nother issue. So let's talk about the why am I and what that T is. Tell me in the chat, do you have a T in your life? Is it talking? Is it being tired? Is it being triggered? What's the T for your why am I? Okay. Whether I'm reading this, my tired is thought often known. Yeah. And then thought, okay. Yeah. It's good. Ooh, good. Yeah, tired and triggered. Are we meeting the expectations of our students? That's good. It's very good. And that's something else. That's a whole nother conversation when we have to manage our expectations, right? Why are we teetering? Why are we teetering? Why are we on the fence when it comes to our students' education? Like we're one leg in and one leg out. You either are hot or cold, but you can't be just lukewarm. You need to be one or the other and stand on that. That teetering back and forth causes confusion. It causes anxiety for our students and the people that are in our lives. And I'm not saying that everything needs to be a confirmed decision, but you do need to know that people's lives, their expectations, their peace is dependent on whether or not you're teetering. And we can think about a teeter-totter on a playground. You are up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're just all over the place. And I think it's time that we make a stand. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So let's think about this. What's that T in your life? When we're adulting, sometimes we get all in our feels. We get all in our feels. It's hard for us to move in one direction or another. Okay? Because we are adulting. There's so many decisions that come our way. They're like nonstop. So when we're in our feels, in order for us to understand why we are feeling the way we're feeling, we have to name it. We have to name the feelings. Okay? But she started off our conversation today. Tell me how you're feeling. In one word, tell me how you're feeling. We had some really great feelings, but then we also had some, I'm tired, I'm this, and that's okay. You got to be able to name them. What are you feeling right now? What are you feeling right now? Go ahead and use that reaction button. There's some emojis on there. Use your emoji and tell us, how are you feeling right now? What it is that you're feeling right now. Hopefully y'all have the new version of Zoom and you got some good emojis on there, because those other ones from a year or two ago, they was a little tired and they wasn't cute. You couldn't change the skin tone. And I'm like, oh gosh, right? Good. So some of you are still looking for your emojis. How are you feeling right now? You know, okay. Zoe, I see that one. Woo, I didn't even know that one existed. See, now I'm gonna have to find that one. I'm dead, as my kids say all the time. I'm dead, Mom. Yes, I love that one. Good, 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 good. As you all come up with some more, and use those oh, look at that. I like that one too. Okay, okay. I think of why education is important. I come up with different reasons why it is, and then think of what else can I be doing with my time. That's a good one. That is a very good one, because we think about the return on our investment. When it comes to education, right? We think about, am I going to have a return on this investment, right? So here we have another T word. And again, I'm going to read this one again. As a student, I think of why education is important. I come up with different reasons why it is, and then think of what else I can be doing with my time. Okay. Thus, that is not just as a student. I'm telling you as a staff person. I mean, be in some of these Zoom meetings and I'm like, what else could I be doing with my time? Right? Why am I tempted to walk away? Why am I tempted? With me, I dive into sweets when I have anxiety, when I'm feeling like there's some things that are out of my control. What do? I get all bold and say, I'm going to be in charge, and I go and give me some chocolate because I'm in charge of that. I'm in control of that. Why am I tempted to do that? Why am I tempted to really think that my time is being wasted? Well, I am here to tell you, your time is not wasted as long as you don't negotiate with terrorists. And those terrorists could even be the ones in your mind that tell you that this is worthless, that this time is not being well spent. Yes, it is, because there's something important that someone else cannot take away from you. And that is your mind. No one can take away your education. No one can take away from you the learned opportunities that you have invested in yourself. You may be motivated by your family. I'm getting my degree, for my family. I'm getting my degree for my children. But the time that you've invested is a choice. And it was a choice in the right direction. You cannot tell me that when you learn something new, that it's always a waste of time. No, it's not. It's not a waste of time, because you don't negotiate with terrorists. You wait. You think to yourself, why am I talking? Why am I triggered? Why am I towering over people? Why am I the terror? Why am I tempted? When you can have those courageous conversations with yourself, it gives you an opportunity for your heart and your mind to respond in a very positive way, not to react, not to just throw in the towel. And I want you to think about that thought of throwing in the towel. Throwing in the towel, as we say it all the time, I'm just going to throw in the towel. Well, guess what? That's actually a misnomer. Throwing in the towel is it's a boxing term, right? Those of you who have ever watched boxing, whether you agree with it or not, you might understand the concept of the sport. That you have a corner, and between rounds, you go to that corner. And in that corner are coaches. It's usually a medical staff. It's your trainer. And they know you. They've seen you day in and day out prepare for this fight. And then when things look like they may not be going in the best direction, guess what? The corner is the one that decides to throw in the towel. You don't throw in your own towel. You don't go run into the corner in the middle of a boxing match and say, hey, trainer, hey, coach, give me the towel. I'm ready to quit. Most boxers get angry when their corner throws in the towel. Most of them, through the very end, believe that they can win. We need to have that same type of attitude. I can win, but you also need to have people in your corner that will help you live another day, right? That can see that the timing has gotten to a point where you may be a little in over your head this time. And your folks that are in your corner can help you by saying, let's take a pause. I'm going to throw the towel in. Let's take a pause from this fight. Let's go back, regroup. Let's retrain. Let's get stronger. Let's get better. And then we can live another day to fight another fight. That's what we have to be. We have to surround ourselves with people that have our interest at heart, our best interest. And your success is a return on their investment. Be intentional. Be on purpose. When you have goals, whether it be in the classroom, on your job, in your relationships, be intentional. Be on purpose. Say good morning on purpose to the people around you. And be on purpose listening to their response. Don't say good morning, how are you as you are walking away. What does that say to them? You really don't care. That's just a sentence you just throwing out. You just trying to hurry up and get your steps in. You looking at your Fitbit. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. How you doing? You don't really mean how you doing. You really mean don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Right? Come on now. Be on purpose with what you do. Be on purpose. Be calculated. Understand your feelings. Recognize them. Name them. I'm terroring. I'm triggered. I'm traumatized. I'm talking. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to sock her in the face. Name that feeling, but be intentional on purpose to respond rather than react. Do not allow the terrorists in your mind to cause you to forfeit every bit of your dreams. And I know this for a fact, and this could be a whole nother conversation, but I tell my daughters, a few minutes of pleasure can have a lifetime of consequences. Now, honestly, that was a conversation about sex, but it's germane. It's transferable. It's a skill, right? A few minutes of pleasure can have a lifetime of consequences. A few minutes of cussing somebody out on the freeway because they cut you off can have a lifetime of consequences. And sometimes those consequences are not even your own, especially if they take out a gun and kill you. Guess what? The consequences now fall on your family. Consequences can be great. They can be great. So we need to wait. Y-M-I-T, I don't know. I wish chasing or cussing started with a T, right? Because you got to really figure out, why are you talking? Why are you doing that? And no, a few minutes of pleasure. Yes, I can slap this man in his face right now for talking to me the way he did in class. I could slap this person in the face right now for showing up to yet another group assignment unprepared. And yes, it might feel real good to just slap him in the face. But guess what? The consequences could be great. You're there for a purpose. You exist for a reason. If you are here doing a group project, it's obvious that you want to do good and get a good grade. You want to be successful. Slapping that person is not going to be successful. That is you negotiating with the terrorists in your mind to slap that person. And instead, wait. Take it back. Calm down. Get yourself together. Right? Be on purpose. Understand your why. Understand your why. And understand that responding is a whole lot better than reacting, because that's just going to be about you. When you react and you just behave and you don't think it through, you allow your frustrations to get the best of you. You walk away from your degree without finishing. You are allowing this tiredness, this frustration, all of those things to dictate your reaction. Then it's only about you. It's not about the successes of you and your family or the successes of your team. You may not even like them people on the team, but guess what? We have a saying in our sorority, and most sororities do. I am my sister's keeper. What she does, I do. What she knows, I know. If she's unable to do it, neither am I. We can go on and on. But I'm going to tell you this. When you are working as a team, sometimes you got to suck it up, buttercup, do the best that you absolutely can so that the whole team will look good. They will come out in the wash. When you have people who are slackers in your team and in your area, it'll come out in the wash. Like when you accidentally leave something in your pocket. for somebody else to discover. It will be discovered. And sometimes in the most inopportune times. Trust me, walk it out. Be the best that you can be, and I guarantee it will come out in the wash. It will come out in the wash. Don't be tempted. But think about how you respond. Reaction is about you. Responding is about success in the situation. When you make things only about you, you have situations like this. And some of you may have seen this before. What do you think? What do you see? Put it in the chat, y'all, or come off mute. Come off mute. Tell me, what do you see? Quick, quick, quick.
It's a beautiful display of art.
Mm-hmm. Very. We getting somewhere in the chat. We getting somewhere. It is a beautiful display of art. It's beautiful, literally. Butterflies. It's big. Sometimes we get in there, we do stuff big, right? We want everybody to see, but then not really. That's why it's on my back, right? We want people to see, but then we kind of, then all of a sudden, why am I timid, right? What is this really about? When you don't own your reactions and you don't own the fact that it is really probably a little self-centered, when you just react, you will have a situation just like this, where you think things are going to wind up beautiful. You may have had some good intentions when you said what you said or did what you did. You may have meant to say something sweet when you asked that woman if she's pregnant, right? You may have, just wanted to ask a question like, your hair is so beautiful. Can I touch your hair? Black woman, Latinx or Latina, your hair is just so beautiful. Can I touch it? Right? No, you cannot. I'm not a chia pet, right? I am not a science project. No, you can't sample my hair. This ain't Costco. You cannot do those kinds of things. So you may have asked because you just wanted to know, you were curious. You may have wanted to give just a gorgeous compliment. You may have wanted to be, just a part of the team, and you came in gung-ho and you took over. Why am I taking over? You made it about you. You made it about you. And something beautiful then causes a great consequence. Hopefully now you can see that this tattoo is spelled wrong. The U is missing. The U is missing. And that U is super important. It changes a whole lot. It changes from something being a beautiful work of art, something being beautiful, something being phenomenal, something being successful. But you can't have success without the U. You can't have success without you. So when you are having these self conversations, when you're having those courageous conversations, you determine what it is, why it is that you are doing the things that you do. You determine if you are willing to negotiate with terrorists. You determine whether or not you are willing to react or respond. You determine whether or not these few minutes of pleasure, what kind of consequences could last for a lifetime. You make that determination. Have those courageous conversations with yourself. Be willing, right? Be willing to get ready, get set, and go. You have to know when it's time to wait. You have to know when it's time to go, when it's time to stop. What is your wait? And we know that the yellow part of the stoplight, that means proceed with caution. Do not allow your talking, do not allow your triggers, do not allow your trauma, do not allow your temptations to stop you from being successful. All of those T's, you need to proceed with caution. All of the T's in your life, proceed with caution. then you have a bunch of folk that you want to surround yourself with. Go grab somebody that will be in your corner. If you don't have those people, find them. Create an atmosphere where you can develop a team of people who will be in your corner and will let you go out there and battle to the best of your ability and cheer you on. But when you go back to the corner, they are ready to coach you. They're ready to walk alongside you. They're ready to train with you. But they're also ready to tell you when it's time to pause. Time to throw in the towel on this situation so that you can be successful in the next. So you can be successful in the next. The keys to your success is to wait and proceed with caution. Let's talk about it. I'm Denise Trimble Smith. I am the proud CEO and owner of Courageous Conversations. I dropped my very first podcast today, and it's super exciting, y'all. I waited a long time, and finally, I made the decision with people in my corner to say the time is now. So today, Black History Month, the first day of Black History Month, I dropped my podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, Google. Some of the stuff I don't even know. I'm low tech, y'all. I had to have a team to help me because I'm very low tech. I tell people, with all jokes aside, but I'm like tech dyslexic, right? But my podcast is a juicy one. I have Courageous Conversations podcast coming up, but I also have episodes that are called Brown Sugar and Spice. It's a lot of sweet, but a little bit of heat. So those conversations are not for little ears. It is definitely for mature audiences. And if you do go to my website, havecourageousconversations.com, you would be able to subscribe and actually watch the video podcast. But today's topic is Black, Gay, and Spiritual. Black, Gay, and Christian. It's a great, courageous conversation with a member of the LGBTQ community who also is a business owner, identifies as a woman, and also identifies as gay. And we have a great deep dive. It's amazing. And it's something worth learning about. No matter where you stand, no matter how you feel, it is an opportunity for you to learn something. And it will either confirm your convictions, or it will make your convictions a little bit more curious, or it will change them. Either way, there's behavior, there's a shift, there's courage. And so I hope that you'll have an opportunity to listen to my podcast and give me a rating as well as comments. I'm learning that that's how you get out there in the world. But I'm really excited to be here with y'all. And this wasn't just a commercial for me, but it is an opportunity for us to engage with each other. And it is also an opportunity for me to say to you, it took me a long time to be able to release this podcast. It took me a long time to stop negotiating with terrorists in my head, to say I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't skinny enough, or I wasn't, healthy enough, I wasn't fit enough, I wasn't smart enough. All of those imposter syndrome things that go through your mind that have held me back. I'm telling you, if I can do a podcast and go after my dreams, so can you. You can too. I promise you, you can. Get yourself into a moment to say, I can do this. Why am I? Why am I? And you pick the T. Why am I? You pick the T. Thank you, Vashia. I really appreciate spending time with you all. And I don't know if we have time left, but I'm here. And so you let me know what's next. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much, Denise, for joining us today. It has been a fabulous time with you. I can say that I've learned some good tips to cause me to think before I react and to stay in a response stance. It really makes me appreciate, having a support system and to think twice about the people that are in my corner so that I can, kind of rebuild myself. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I did put the evaluation in the chat, so please take a moment to fill out the evaluation. And again, This has been a fabulous session. Please, please, please join us at our next session, which will be Adulting 101 Disconnect, which is on February 28th. And you don't want to miss the Black Women's Voices panel on February 17th at 10:30. Same spot, different link. The information will go out today, but these beautiful ladies, Jackie Starks and Denise Tribble-Smith, will also be present with us. So look for the information, and we hope that you will join us. That concludes this presentation today.
Thank you, Bashir, Denise. Good to see
You're
you.
welcome.
It's good to see you. It's so good to see you.